How many of you would like to become a PM? Not many. I would like to become one, and anyone can achieve it. A very good evening, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and dear guests.
Good evening.
However educated we are, whatever the resources we have, whatever the business and professional practices we follow, the secret of success for individuals and organizations is how they deal with people. And no matter in which field we are, be it the corporate, medicine, law, sports, politics, or even at home, all of us have to deal with people. In fact, almost 75% of the time, we are communicating one-on-one, over the phone, to groups, or an audience like this, which is why effective communication is a critical skill. And that is why Stephen Scott, in his book, has rated communication as the most important of the top secrets of successful people in the world. Today, I am here to share with you some tips on interpersonal communication. We are all aware that tact is what people skills is all about. And I'm going to give you Sumitra's mantra. Tact. T-A-C-T. Now when we start communicating, we must be aware as to why we are communicating. What is the purpose? What is our objective? That is, what's the goal, the target? So that's T of tact. Now that gives us direction and focus. And we all know meetings without an objective goes round and round in circles and doesn't arrive at any decision. Next, we need to know with who am I communicating? That is, who is the receiver of my communication or my audience? That's A of tact. Now, if you're not aware whom you're communicating with, it's like writing a love letter to whomsoever you concern. So, you need to know the age, the cultural, the educational background, his needs, his interests, and maybe the hot buttons when you are communicating with someone. Now, when we know the person with whom we are communicating, the group that we are going to communicate with, then we know how to adapt our message. That is, customize our message to our receiver. So that is C of tact. That's not any rocket science, believe me. We are all familiar how to communicate with kids. Don't we get into their prattle? Don't we make our language simple? Don't we connect them to the heroes of, their fairy tales or the cartoons? It's so simple. All we need to do is just raise the level and adapt it to the adults we are communicating with. And finally, we come to the second T, that's the timing. Just imagine if you had to go and ask your boss for a pay rise. And suppose he's been fired by his boss, or worse still, he's had a fight with his spouse in the morning. No chance of getting your pay hike. Right? So timing is very important. Now let me put tact in another way. So you need to know communicating, how you need to communicate, and finally, when you need to communicate. Now, along with tact, you need the 3 V's of communication. That is the visual, the vocal, and the verbal. As Toastmasters, we are all familiar with the 3 V's. Visual is the body language, vocal is the voice, the tone. I'm married to a lawyer, constantly having fights. And it's just some years back, my younger son told me, Mom, what you say is 100% correct, no, 200% correct. But it's the tone in which you speak to Dad that makes him so angry. So watch out for your tone. Of course, the words we all know. You can look up to Rajdeep. You learn a lot of things from him, how to use words. A best embodiment of these 3 for me is our Big B. Amitabh Bachchan. And KBC after KBC, we've seen him, how humble he is, how he adapts his message to the person he's communicating. He can adjust to any type of person. There's another person I always look up to, that is Helen Keller. Imagine, despite her disabilities of being deaf and blind, she, with the help of her teacher and Sullivan, she was able to emerge a great communicator. Fellow Toastmasters, I'm sure if Helen Keller could do it, can't we be effective communicators? Yes. And let me tell you, with effective communication, nothing is impossible. You can handle the toughest of people. You can overcome the worst of odds and emerge a smart PM. P for people, M for manager. How many of you guessed that? Mr. Toastmaster.